Hi, this is Lippy. I'm a shamanic healer, and in today's video, I would like to talk to you about how narcissistic gaslighting can fool even the tarot card and the energy healing process. Now, as I had explained earlier in one of my videos about narcissistic abuse, what to do if you're being narcissistically abused, I normally don't make videos about topics around narcissism that have already been covered extensively, because if you go onto YouTube, there are amazing people doing amazing videos on narcissism, and I think they've done such a good job. I don't want to add anything to what they have to say, but the videos that I make on narcissism are the ones that I could find, because I think no matter how much we know about narcissism or about cluster B personalities and how that abuse works, I still think that there's so much we have to learn, and it's important for people to come out with their experiences that maybe are unique to them, or experiences that other people maybe haven't covered or have had but couldn't sort of figure out. I don't know which way it goes. And so my videos are about the things that I couldn't find. And I think gaslighting as a topic has been covered very, very extensively. It's all over the internet. It's all over Google. It's all over YouTube. And I still think there's a lot that we still need to learn about gaslighting. And in today's video, I hope to cover a facet of gaslighting that some people may relate to or resonate with, some may not. But this is something I have experienced personally and observed as a shamanic healer, about how gaslighting can permeate even the energetic realm. And I really wanted to share this with you, even though, quite honestly, it is predominantly a personal experience. I don't have any proof for what I'm saying. I haven't done any research on it. I tried. I looked for videos on this topic and couldn't find anything. I looked for anything that had been documented or written about it and couldn't find anything. So I'm just going to go on with it, and if it's helpful to you and resonates with you, great. And if not, then let it go. And in any case, if you want to learn more about gaslighting, there is a video that I've created called What to Do If You Are Being Narcissistically Abused, and I'm going to copy paste that in the comment section. And in that video, I have enumerated a few steps that you could follow if you suspect you are being abused. And in the comment section below the video, I have a list of other YouTubers who I have selected and who I think are making amazing videos on narcissism. So if you want to learn more about gaslighting beyond what I have to say in this video, the basics of gaslighting, or you're new to gaslighting, then I strongly recommend you use those references and look it up. But just quickly, for new viewers, gaslighting the term came from a movie of the same name, a movie that was an Oscar nominated movie, I think, Oscar winning, Oscar nominated, I'm not sure, created in 1944, and the movie has Ingrid Bergman as the lead female role. And she's a woman who is being slowly and purposefully, she's being driven insane by her husband, because he wants to get his hand on her fortune. And one of the ways he's driving her insane is by, he keeps turning the gas lights, dimming them and then turning them up. And when she notices that the gas lights are constantly flickering, and she says, what's going on? He assures her that it's all in her head. It's just her imagination. And this and many other ways, he distorts her reality. So when she says she's seen something or heard something, he assures her that she hasn't. And that's what gaslighting is in a nutshell. It is when somebody, either purposefully or maybe even accidentally, distorts your perceptions and your sense of reality. Now, I've been doing a little bit of research into gaslighting, because gaslighting, out of all the abuse tactics used by the narcissist, is to me the most dangerous and insidious tactic, and also the most destructive in my opinion. And what I have found is that there are actually 5 different types of gaslighting. We're not going to get into that in this video. There's another video made by a wonderful YouTuber who I'm going to reference down in the comment section below that covers that. And this particular video, we are going to focus on, or I'm going to focus on, how gaslighting permeates the energetic realm. I'm going to share with you 5 very interesting stories, real stories, about how this has happened. So before we get into that, I'd just like to share that I'm in this beautiful place called the Hanu. It's a beach town about 130 kilometers from Mumbai, and it's also famous for its chiku farms. And I'm here at this beautiful place with lovely trees and this lovely sort of outhouse in the background. I had a tough time getting this video started this morning because all this gorgeous nature, and couldn't find a place to get both the light and the video right at the same time, but here we are finally. So I had a strange incident happen to me where a couple of years ago I came out of a relationship with this man who I later realized was a narcissist, and he was pretty much a malignant narcissist. And the mysterious thing about it is that I kept not only thinking about him, but I kept getting these psychic messages from him. And it seemed, after a few years of us being apart, that psychically it appeared to me that this man wanted to reconcile, and he wanted to get back. And I was feeling it very, very strongly, like it was coming to me very strongly psychically. I was having dreams. I was picking up his energy and picking up a lot of information from him that indicated that this is what he wanted. And I was still new to narcissism at that point. I didn't really understand. I understood a little bit, but I didn't understand it the way I do today, for instance. And I was really confused because, well, I had feelings for him, and I just couldn't understand how this was happening. Like, he wanted to reconcile. This is what I'm picking up energetically. But in reality, he wasn't calling. He didn't get in touch with me. It was like the reality did not match what I was picking up psychically from the situation. So I was like, okay, either I'm imagining things, or maybe it's me projecting my desires onto this thing. What's going on? But it was persistent. And even when I checked myself, checked my own desires and did some healing for that, the situation didn't change. So then I was like, okay, so let me get outside help. So I went to see a tarot reader who's a really good tarot reader, very well respected, really knows what he's doing. And the tarot said that, what you're picking up psychically is correct. He wants to reconcile. He wants to get back with you. And I was like, well, that's exactly what I've been picking up, and so I wait. I'm like, well, if this is true, he should be getting in touch with me, or something should be happening. I wait and nothing. Okay. And by this time I'm like, this is really not making any sense, because if this exists, I have a way I test for whether something that's a psychic message is accurate or not, and that is where it's got to show up in reality at some stage, because then otherwise it's just a load of bullshit. And this wasn't showing up in reality. So I'm like, this is really confusing. And then I decided to go a couple of months down the line. So I went to another tarot reader, and she's the one who actually figured out what was going on. And she looked at the cards and she was like, this is a total illusion. What you are picking up is a complete illusion. He doesn't love you at all. There's a part of him that wants to get back with you, because with narcissists, it is that they are split, and that the real them is completely wrapped up somewhere, that they don't connect with that part of themselves, and what they have built as a personality is a completely superficial cover up for who they really are. And the real part of him had feelings and wanted to get back, but he's not in touch with that part. And and when they're not in touch with their disowned shadow, their disowned aspects, that's what they project onto you. And that's what was actually happening. He was actually projecting that part onto me consciously. He had no intention of getting back. I mean, it was very clear. The tarot, it hurt me a little bit, but I have to say she was the one who really saw through what was happening. And she said, this is an illusion. This is she didn't say projected, but I figured it out. She said, it's actually an illusion. And so I realized, I was like, wow, that was it. His energy was so powerful that it fooled me. It fooled the first tarot person, because the first tarot person I went to was also a really good tarot reader. So it's not like the run-of-the-mill novice person. Wow, lesson learned. And the second time this happened was when I have a friend who was being narcissistically abused. And when she finally got out of the relationship, she told me one day, and she said, I don't understand it, because when I first started dating this guy, I went to a couple of healers and tarot readers, and they all said that, this man is the man of your dreams, he really loves you, and you're going to be a couple. And they were getting cards that were showing that kind of coupling. And she said, I don't get it, because the reality of the situation and what came up in the card it doesn't match. And I said to her, I said, I've had this experience before. This has happened to me as well, where what you're picking up energetically, psychically, or what's coming across in the tarot card and what's really happening are not the same thing. And I was like, it doesn't make sense. But I said to her, I said, possibly it's because he projected that onto the relationship, because they do that. They fake a future with you. They fake, it's love bombing and future faking and all the stuff that they do. And apparently it's so powerful, it even fooled the tarot. And I know they fool therapists with this, because I've heard cases of narcissists and cluster B people going to therapy and fooling the therapist into thinking that they're normal and the person they're abusing is the narcissist. So apparently it's not only therapists that they fool the tarot as well. Interesting. The third time this happened to me was, my goodness, it happened with a therapist. So I went to therapy for something, and by now I knew quite a bit about narcissism, and this is about a year ago. And I started to suspect something was off with my therapist, and I started to suspect that she was possibly oh, hello. So that is my beautiful little nephew. Yeah, this is my farm of my friends, and this is my beautiful nephew Kian. Say hello to everyone. Hello. So I'm making this video. Yeah. Do you want to sit with me? You want to sit with me in the video?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, you're gonna play. All right. Okay, you do that. So coming back to what I was saying, I started to suspect that this therapist was a covert narcissist, and I had to make a decision about whether to continue therapy, because the red flags were getting bigger and bigger. And I sat down and I was like, okay, I'm gonna consult both logic as well as what I'm feeling, and maybe look a little deeper into this. So I spoke to a friend of mine, and she's also an amazing tarot reader, and I took her input, and what came out in the tarot card was absolutely not resonating with what was actually happening. The tarot card said that she was this amazing person, and perhaps maybe a little new to therapy, and maybe that's why she had fumbled. But what I was picking up from her, the red flags and the energy, and those red flags are unmistakable, because I have a lot of experience with, for better or worse, I have met so many narcissists, and you can't ignore that. The tarot cards so did not resonate with what was really happening. And there was a third time it happened, and it happened again a fourth time, where I suspected somebody was doing something and was a borderline narcissist, and again the tarot card showed that she wasn't. But I didn't buy it. I just didn't buy it, because it was like I was being gaslighted by this person, and then I was being gaslighted by the tarot. which is insane. It's just like completely insane. um my take on it is that the narcissist has a very powerful fake persona, which is energetically so powerful. So in their energy field, that's who they really believe that they are. And because narcissists are so delusional, and tarot does work on energy, right? So at the end of the day, the tarot picks up energy. So it's not, I don't think it's outside of reason to then realize that perhaps this delusional energy field of theirs is so powerful that the tarot actually picks up that delusion and presents back to you the delusion of love, and the delusion of their personality, and the delusion of who they think they are. So the only thing I can conclude out of that is, well, you got to be really careful, because you may consult a tarot reader or a reading regarding a narcissist, and it could totally turn out to give you the wrong information. So then the next best defense is, well, you just listen to your gut, and if you feel in your gut you're being gaslighted and something is off, then something probably is. Another incident, the last incident I want to share with you, and that has nothing to do with the tarot. It has to do with a type of shamanic healing which is known as a soul retrieval. And this was a real big eye-opener for me, because in my early days of healing, when I knew about narcissism but not very deeply, I had one of my clients come to me, and we figured out that her narcissist ex had stolen energetically her one of her soul pieces. And so we did a soul retrieval where I had to retrieve the piece back from her ex, and the piece that was stolen was apparently her passion, her sexual passion. And we did the retrieval and we got the piece back, and it was very difficult to get the piece back from this energetically from the narcissist ex. But we got the piece back. I put the piece back for her, and I was like, wow, I was hoping to hear good news. Instead, she called me the next day and she said, I don't feel any different. I don't feel like anything really happened. And I was like, oh, okay, let's look into it. What's happening? And what we realized had happened was that what was given back to me was a fake piece. So it actually wasn't the soul piece that had her passion. It was a fake piece that had nothing, because she felt nothing. She felt no passion coming back. So we rectified the situation, and she was a healer herself. So we managed to get the real piece back, and her passion finally came back. And it was again like a big shock to me, because I was like, wow, so you can do a soul retrieval when a soul piece of yours has been stolen by a narcissist, and you have to be very careful, because what could come back to you could actually be a fake piece. And again, it has to do with their deception, their wanting to take your power, and then not wanting to give back what they have stolen from you. And of course, when they are pushed to do it, even if it's energetically, possibly their way of fighting is to, fool you into thinking they've given something back that's real, but it isn't. So I asked for a way shamanically when I do these retrievals. How would I know if the piece that I'm getting back is real? Give me a sign. How would I know that? And what came to me was, every time I picked up a piece from another person, possibly an abuser, a narcissist, was to check whether that piece reflected energetically in a mirror, because the mirror would show the truth if the piece was real. So I started doing that, and there are many times I realized that, I had picked up a fake piece because it wasn't showing in the mirror. So you live, you learn. But my point is this. My point is that the gaslighting of a narcissist is so powerful. It's not just something they do. It literally is something they are. Their energy field is gaslit. It's a distortion of who they are, their reality, the delusion, and that distortion is so powerful that it can show up energetically in these strange, crazy ways. So thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions to ask about this video, if something like this has happened to you, I'd love to hear from you, because as I said, this video is about what I have observed and seen in my experience. I couldn't find any material on it. So if anything like that has happened to you, please let me know, because I would love to hear if I'm the only whack job around with this experience, or it has happened to others. Well, I know it has from clients, but whether it's happened to other people out there. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead, and thank you for listening. Goodbye.